Welcome back to Sports DNA. I'm Daniel. Let's get back into it. I'm here with my buddy Nick. All right. So I'll actually, you know what? Okay, no. I'm gonna start off with this topic. I heard I think it was Stephen A and Jay Williams talking about who would you rather have right now, Ja Morant or Giannis?
Oh my God. Right now,
as of July 20th, 2022.
July.
January. Oops.
Hey, right now, I'm taking Ja. I'm
Ooh.
taking 100%. Ja's like the trendy pick, but I feel like Ja's also the correct pick because right now, bro, Ja just has that team vibing. And like, I don't know if you saw that logo-ish shot that he had, I think last night or a couple nights ago. But if Ja ever develops that type of range, like while he's still within his mid-20s with any type of consistency, like even 33% from that type of range, like it's over. It's absolutely over for everybody. And yeah, I don't know, man. The Bucks are playing well. The Bucks definitely got the better of the Grizzlies, but there's just something about Ja's ability to like. It's almost like Steve Nash-esque, where like I feel like he's actually making subpar teammates better, and like we really still think Kyle Anderson is this good. And I'm not saying Desmond Bane isn't good, because we saw Desmond Bane without Ja Morant. But again, that's like almost like the Steve Nash effect, where like even when he was out for the Suns sometimes, like Boris Diaw and all these random players, bro, freaking Leandro Barbosa would come in. And again, like not to say that they were bad players, but like I just feel like Nash gave them a framework of like how to play and be successful. And I see that same thing with Ja and the Grizzlies, where like he truly is a franchise point guard because he's a winner. Like, and that's so tough at the point guard position to not only be a flashy player, but to also be a winner. Like, we really haven't seen that since Derrick Rose, because for as great as Westbrook was, like, he was winning because Kevin Durant and James Harden to a degree were on that team. Like, we know who Russell Westbrook is by himself. Like, who the hell does Ja Morant have outside of Steven Adams, Desmond Bane? Like, Dylan Brooks hasn't even been playing most of the time. Like, I don't know. I'm definitely taking Ja Morant.
I'm not going to disagree with anything that you've said, but at the same time, I can't take Ja. But that right now, and that was, I think this was the pretty much the answer that Jay Williams gave, and I agree with it 100% that I'm taking Giannis because he has proven that he can go out, he can win the championship. He's Finals MVP. He closed it off with a 50-point performance. One of, if not, one of the greatest performances in the NBA Finals, regardless of whether or not of what we want to say about the Suns. The Suns weren't that big overall, so Giannis, of course, was dominating. But that's the team that got out of the West. So I'm going to choose Giannis, but Ja's making it pretty hard not to choose him. However, it's like I said, at the end of the season, it could really change. If the Grizzlies get into the playoffs, and Ja just starts going nuts, it could be different because he's got all the skills, and it's like you said, and if he starts developing a shot anywhere in his mid-20s while he's still in his athletic prime and he stays relatively injury-free, oh man, that's literally what we would have wanted Russell Westbrook to be. Just never ended up panning out like that. But 100%, I'm not taking anything away from Ja Morant, and I definitely don't disagree with you in the slightest, but I'm going to have to roll with Giannis. Next one. Ben Simmons. We had some trade offers from Sacramento. I think included Buddy Hield, Matisse Thybulle. Or wait, no, Tyrese Halliburton, right? Is he's the one on hold on.
Yeah, yeah, he's on the Kings.
Yeah,
Matisse
Halliburton, right?
on the 76ers.
Thybulle's on the 76ers, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Halliburton, Healed, and I thought it was a decent trade package. No, it wasn't too bad. We saw one from Detroit as well, I believe, that included Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, and one other guy, and I don't remember who it was. But what are you thinking about all this? I personally, I kind of think that Philly's kind of insane right now because Ben Simmons has literally zero value right now for them while he's not playing. But I think I think some of these trades absolutely can make the 76ers better and definitely high contenders in the East. But what are you making about all this?
I have a conspiracy theory about this. I feel like Daryl Morey is like trying to get James Harden, which is preventing all of this from happening. Because like, why else, like you said, would you not let Ben Simmons play and like be comfortable letting him just ride the bench when like his trade value was already zero? And I feel like he has like negative value at this point. Like I've never seen this guy's an all-star. He's at any point an NBA all defensive team, first, second, or third team player, regardless of the fact that he's got the, basketball equivalent of just essentially performance anxiety when it comes to making his free throws. So I totally think that the Kings should trade Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons, or I think that any team at this point should look to explore their options. And in all honesty, the ball is, no pun intended, metaphorically, in Daryl Morey's court at this point. Like he just has to pull the trigger because if this goes on past this season, like we're just Ben Simmons is going to come back and being an amazing shooter. Like no, that's not what happens. If anything, it's going to be abysmal. So just trade him now while he has some upside, but no value, no immediate value at that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Ben Simmons has, almost negative trade value. I think he's definitely got a lot of positive trade value. I see where you're going because obviously Daryl Morey kind of wanted James Harden in the beginning, but he ended up going to Brooklyn. I don't really have a good answer because I feel like I would have traded Ben Simmons already because I mean, he definitely is asking. I feel like he's almost asking like $1.25 on the dollar for for Ben Simmons, and like I get it. You don't want to undervalue Ben Simmons, but at the same time, it's kind of like how much value do you really want to put in a guy who's not playing? And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be playing Ben Simmons either. I don't even know if I would really want him on my bench overall, but because I'm not disagreeing with the fact of not letting him play or not letting him near the arena at all, because I think if you're going to be toxic around your team, 100%, I don't want you around because I don't want you ruining our groove. But what are you looking for? And as time goes on, James Harden eventually not going to be that dude. But I could see, but James Harden and Joel Embiid, that'd be a duo though. Even if James Harden's at, even if he has taken a real step back, and I think it has been expressed in the last few days that James Harden has expressed interest in perhaps leaving Brooklyn after this year. I don't know if that was verified, but I did hear that. It's weird, man. I think I probably like the Detroit trade a little bit better, just because I think in that one they kept Tobias Harris, and I would low key flip Harris for then another point guard and everything like that, possibly, and maybe another maybe another forward, because then you're getting Jeremy Grant, who is a 20 plus per game scorer. He's going to stretch the floor. I think it would be better that way. And Jeremy Grant could run the 3 or 4. Joel Embiid would run 5. They had another dude. They had a guy who could run the 4. Maybe it was Jeremy Grant. I'm just wilding, but I don't know. That James Harden idea is not too bad though.
No, yeah, I could definitely see it being held up by James Harden. It's just wild to think that I think the 76ers like 2 or 3 years ago had JJ Redick, Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid, and now it's Joel Embiid and Seth Curry. like, like,
And the
like that's what
76ers got rid of Jimmy Butler because of Ben Simmons.
and they had Tobias Harris that year too. So like that's a crazy starting five to have in retrospect, and to think Redick retired, you lose Jimmy Butler in free agency, like you fall out of touch with Ben Simmons. How quickly a great team can fall out of, because honestly they have no shot at winning the East regardless of what they do this year. So get something for Simmons. Those are my thoughts.
I think if they make the trade, and I think any trade that they can get, I think definitely propels them up. I don't know if they would necessarily win the East, but they would be right there, I think, with the best, with the best teams in the East, with the Bulls, with the Nets. I'm probably not thinking of another team, but with the Bucks, they would definitely be right there with all of them. But we will move on. All right. We're getting a little bit more personal, so we can just explore more, of our backgrounds, just so, our audience can kind of get to know us better. What age did you begin playing basketball, and like, where was it? Was it like on a seasonal team, like a Wham, or was it, where was it?
Okay, so my basketball upbringing is different. Like I grew up in New York. So I mean, for me, like I just grew up around a culture of basketball. And then my dad introduced basketball to my sister and I, because we used to live right across the street from a park, like literally, like right across the street. So like I could see it from my front door. So we would just go to the park. I mean, it's nothing like it was now. You know what I'm saying? Like him teaching me, like I still remember like shooting underhand in second grade, as opposed to like kids nowadays. They're like shooting overhand, crossing people up, and everything like that. I didn't end up playing on a team until I moved to Arizona in seventh grade, because I played soccer and like just ran, honestly. Like running was like a big thing. So there was like a running club. What is it at school? And I was on the soccer team. But then coming to Arizona, you have to play, or I had to play at least, like flag football, soccer, baseball, and basketball. So I don't know. I was decent, but I remember eighth grade year, dude, and I'll never forget. My team lost 72-0. Like I had just come back from missing like a month of school because of pneumonia. And like my teammates were so embarrassed at one point, they wouldn't go like into the game. So like I had to play the whole game, just coming back from pneumonia. The parents are celebrating. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm never losing this bad at anything again. So I started playing basketball basically like the middle of like my eighth grade year. And yeah, ended up playing at Notre Dame, Horizon, and St. Paul's Academy, which doesn't exist anymore, and had to walk on NAU. So that's my experience with basketball.
That's cool. That's cool. So what age do you think you were probably introduced to basketball? You first were just like, I don't know, you first picked up a basketball and just started shooting around?
I think like I was definitely introduced to basketball probably when I was like 6 or 7, but I feel like I really fell in love with the game when I was 12 or 13. Because what I forgot to mention is between my eighth grade and my ninth grade year, it was probably like the most important thing that happened to me in my basketball career. My mom moved where me, my sister, and her were living, to like right behind where the Desert Ridge sign is, if that makes sense. My next door
North
neighbor,
Phoenix?
yeah, my next door
Yeah.
neighbor was this former Mr. Basketball, like former Arizona Mr. Basketball. So like I put a hoop out in front, and like that's how him and I met, because he just started shooting on my hoop randomly, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" Like shooting on my hoop, and like he wasn't missing at all, bro. And like it was like the only thing comparable I can think of it is like he was like showing me like Steph Curry stuff before like Steph Curry existed. Like he would, because like he had played with so many former pro players and stuff like that. So like we'd be playing horse and he'd be like, okay, make a three, bet. And then he'd be like, all right, swish a three. And like took me the longest time. And then he'd be like, swish two. And then like we'd just be like shooting around and he'd be like, you got to swish like 10 shots or you got to bank 10 shots. Like it was the first time like he really gave me an idea of what it took to be successful and showed me like just a lot of things that I use even to this day where now like even if it's like some new age hokey thing that I'm applying, like it's still rooted in something fundamental that he instructed me or showed me how to do at such a young age. So I don't know. That's why I like basketball training so much. To me, like it's like an extension of what he was doing for me. Like like I look at basketball training almost like it's like horse. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm showing you how to do an exercise. You have to do it a certain amount of times. And then like I'm just putting a bunch of extra rules around it. So basketball training to me, like I almost enjoy it as much as like a game or like watching a game to me because it's like very interactive and personable. So yeah, I don't know. That's my experience with basketball.
That's cool. I think I'm probably not too far off. Obviously, I never met a Mr. Basketball, but um I'd say I probably was first started playing around 5 or 6. I'd probably say 6, and I played, just seasonal teams like, like a Wham or anything like that. And I mean, that was mostly what I did just because obviously elementary schools didn't really have AAU or, any school teams. And I don't think my parents were really aware of like club basketball. So I never really got into that until more my last couple of years of high school. But I mean, it was just, every time that season, basketball season came around, I was in it. And um, being 6'6" now, I was always taller than everybody else. So most of my coaches while I grew up never honestly really taught me a lot other than the basic, you'd go to practice and, you do some dribbling drills or, you do some shooting, but like no coach ever really sat me down and tried to teach me any skills. It was always, hey, go stand underneath the basket because you apparently going to get all the rebounds because you're taller than everybody. And, I mean, and I remember, I don't remember, it had to have been any time like 8, 9, or 10 that my coach had given me the nickname the mound round of rebound. Obviously I wasn't really aware, and that was mostly just because I was killing it rebounding like Barkley, but at the time I was not aware of the
Like the rep.
yeah of where that name came from. I was not aware of Charles Barkley at the time. So but I mean, so I definitely had a lot, absolutely all the kids that we would coach at Hoop Coach 100% more skilled than me at their age. 100%. Like I was not dribbling a ball like that at all. And I wish I would have listened to my dad a little bit more. I was pretty stubborn to like, I didn't want to listen to the things he had to say. And I mean, for the most part, I mean, my dad was a pretty successful basketball player in that he played, he was I think he's like for his school, like one of the top players to ever play like at his school. But it was like, it was a Division 3 school, but hey, Division 3s are competitive. So, he was a bucket back in the day. And again, we were talking the other night about, older guys seem to just have that shot. And my dad got it mid-range. He was a bucket, even 40s, 50s, probably not so much now, but but before, man, yeah, you a bucket, give him a ball and he would just swish it. I'm like, I don't even understand it. So
Bro, that's like it's like you said, like it's something that like all older basketball players have, and it's like the most captivating thing to like younger basketball players because I feel like when you're young, you're like just shooting in motion or shooting in rhythm, whereas like I don't know, bro, like even I still remember it. I was at my friend Kurt Mody's house, and just this random guy, like, bro, we're out there playing basketball. He just pulls up. He's like, "Yo, can I see it real quick?" And like, we like pass him the ball, and he's like, "City League champ." And he like, he didn't like. 3 or 4 threes, bro, like from the right side. And it was the coldest thing. It was like a right hand pull up, and he was stepping into it right, left, and it was just glass. And it would bounce back the same way every time. And like when you see stuff like that, like, I don't know, not only is it inspiring, but that's like, I feel like that's what it's all about, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only from a training aspect, but just basketball culture. Like, it's just so cool. Like,
I had a one moment like that where I hope I inspired one of the kids. I had a buddy who was kind of doing like he was like a young kids AAU coach, and I was helping him out every now and then with practices and that. And one of the kids, I had thrown it behind the back pass while we were doing a 3-on-2, 2-on-1 continuous, and the next play when he went, he tried to mimic me, and he threw it out of bounds, and I was like, dude, you're not there yet. And so, we're going on the next play, and I think we were doing ones. This was towards the end, so I wasn't taking it seriously. I kind of did a little step back three. I had missed. And so again, the same kid tried to do the same thing. He mimicked me. He did the exact same move that I did, exact same spot, everything. And he missed as well. I was like, dude, you got to quit. I was like, you're not ready yet for that. And he's like, you missed too. I was like, I bet. So I went out. I was probably, again, it was still a high school basketball court, but, I was about 3-4 steps out from the 3-point line, and just bang, bang, bang. I hit 3 shots in a row. Next 3 kids were just all out. And I was like, dude, I'm telling you, I was like, y'all are not ready. And I've never done anything as cold as that since then. But I'm hoping that at that moment I had inspired somebody to be like, oh shit, okay, if we keep working, hell yeah, we can show off like that.
yeah.
And I need those moments to happen a little bit more often, but
it will, man, especially this summer. I'm telling you, once we really start training, it's wraps, bro.
It's 100%. It's going to be wraps. All right, we're going to transition back to the NBA. All right, you wanted to talk about the Knicks? Go.
I agree with Stephen A. Smith. The Knicks are an absolute dumpster fire right now. Okay, let me start with Julius Randle, who I just watched somehow get a technical foul after he tipped in his own missed shot at the end of the second half, despite the fact that they are still down to the Pelicans, who do not have Zion Williamson and currently are starting a backup point guard who I believe was recently moved up from the G League, who looks like a ripoff Tyronn Lue. And I say that with the most respect that I can possibly muster. I am absolutely appalled that Evan Fournier is still on the team. I think it's a disgrace that he has the number 13 because it gives me Steve Nash vibes, but I'm not getting Steve Nash play. Kemba Walker, I don't know how he's on the team, and the Knicks are ranked like 30th in offensive efficiency or offensive pace, I think it was, is the stat that I heard throughout the game, which makes sense, honestly, because I've watched like 3 or 4 Knicks games, and I have no idea what Thibodeau is doing in regards to offensive plays. I feel like his offense is give Derrick Rose the ball and let's run the exact sets we did in Chicago, and that doesn't work, bro. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it aside from my dream scenario, which is they trade Julius Randle for Zion Williamson. And I feel like it's serendipity that they're playing the Pelicans tonight, because that's the real story here of tonight's game is not the Knicks are trash. We know that. It's where is Zion Williamson? Where is he? What's going on with Zion? Why are we not talking about the fact that this man is not going to play this year at all? And we will not get to see Zion or probably hear any news about Zion until September or October. This is the number 1 pick in the draft 2 years ago, who is literally a personal chef away from making an all-NBA first team. Let's be honest. If anybody needs a plant-based diet, it's Zion Williamson.
No, big facts. I don't want to switch topics too much, but I do agree. It's going to be pretty sad if Zion kind of heads down the Greg Oden path. Obviously, knock on wood, I don't want that to happen at all. But it's like you said. I mean, obviously, if anyone going to need to get on, like, bro, 3 months, man, is all you need, and you probably going to be back in a lot better shape than ever. But the Knicks are surprising because they gave everyone a lot of hope last season, and maybe it's a fluke. Maybe the shortened season, or was last year's shortened season. Last year was regular. No, it was a condensed season last year. That was it. And maybe it was something different that because they were they were a little younger. They didn't have Walker. They didn't have Fournier last year. Maybe they were a little bit younger, so they could play those quick games, those 4 or 5 games that could happen in a week. Maybe things were a little bit different, but I don't know, man. Yeah, they gave Kemba Walker that little bit of break earlier in the season. He came back and he had, I think, like a solid 4 or 6 games where he played really well, and then he went downhill quick again, man. That's another sad story too, man. Obviously, there's still a lot of talk about Russell Westbrook, but man, Kemba Walker's drop off has been pretty sad too, man. Dude used to be a bucket. I wish he would have left Charlotte a whole lot sooner and just would have just tried something elsewhere, man. Because he's not even that old, man. He's like 32, and he already like trash already. Like it's just sad because he really shouldn't have dropped off that quick, because he wasn't a dude who relied on athleticism. He kind of relied on his quickness a little bit, but he could shoot. So I kind of figured that wasn't going to go away, but sad. I think really I think New York's only upside right now, because defensively they haven't been shit either. I think the only reason why the Pelicans only have 81 right now at pretty much the end of the third is that I saw a lot of easy buckets. They just missed in the second quarter, and I was like, damn, man. I was like, New York, you got to get on, or else y'all gonna get blown out. And sure enough, I think they're up 20. I think they're up 24 on the Knicks. So but going back, I think the only plus side that New York has right now is RJ Barrett. He playing really well, and that's really about it.
RJ Barrett, if you're listening, Dolan, keep RJ Barrett, please God. Please God, hold on to number 9 and trade every single other person on that team, starting with Evan Fournier. Like, I feel like the Knicks' only play at this point, honestly, is offering everything in regards to like draft picks for Damian Lillard. Get Dame out of Portland. Free Dame. # bring Dame to New York. And then we will pick up Zion after the Pelicans cut him, because for some reason, no Brand Jordan representative, no NBA representative, no retired player, John Sally, Chris Paul, nobody's advised Zion on the vegan diet at this point. Nobody's been like, we can make oyster mushrooms taste like anything you want. Zion, just please God, eat this food and get back home safely. Like, that's how you know food is a drug, man, honestly. Like, I feel like that's how you know for real, bro. You are a professional athlete. Like, that's a psychological thing, bro, for real. Like, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that, but like, food very much controls like your mood and your productivity and definitely your ability to bounce back from injury. So that's a super sad situation. But yeah, if I'm Kemba Walker, I take the veterans minimum and I go to play with Charlotte again, bro. Honestly, there's something about seeing him in that jersey. Maybe it'll bring it back. But like you said, bro, like, it seems like he's maybe got 2 or 3 years left in the league. And he's probably going to have to retire at 35 because his game is just all quickness, bro. Like, he's not a knockdown shooter. He doesn't have the step off the dribble anymore. He's not finishing the same way he used to. Like, Thibs, honestly, and I thought he was wrong, but he was right to bench Kemba at the beginning of the year, because it's just like, you don't get much from him at this point. You get like 5 assists and 10 points, but the plus minus ratio, it's just not there.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you're doing it efficiently and then that's not really a bad thing. But yeah, if you're only scoring 10, dishing out 5 assists, but you giving up 15, 20 points on the other end, you're turning the ball over 5 or 6 times, it's like all of a sudden, it don't fucking matter what other plays you make during the game. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe either RJ Barrett need to say, hey, we need to change some shit around here, or he need to just leave because you're not going to do much. And I don't know, maybe that'd be cool, but I feel like, okay, going back to Zion though, you would just think that it would just come to him naturally, like, something apparently isn't working because I am not on an NBA court. Your internet connection is unstable.
Can you hear me now? It like finally caught up.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. You good?
No, yeah, I'm good. Like
Okay.
cut off.
Yeah,
Keep
so
going.
my internet was unstable. I guess I don't know what happened there, but I don't know. I would just think something should come naturally to Zion, where it's like whatever I'm doing right now clearly just isn't working because I'm not on an NBA court. I have not played. I have missed more games than I've played. It's just sad, man. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely expect to see more of Zion, and it's 100% pretty sad. I don't know if he's gonna go to. I don't know if he'd go to New York. Maybe because of RJ Barrett, I could probably see it. And they got someone else from
Cam
Duke.
Reddish, bro. Cam Reddish.
They just picked up Cam Reddish. So, maybe I could see New York being like a hot spot if he were to get healthy, and maybe someone could talk some sense into him. I don't know because. Yeah, again, I just feel like a lot of this is just common sense. Like you obviously got to lose weight. So how do you do that? You eat different, and I mean, no one's saying you gotta eat 1,100 calories, but damn, can you go down to 3,000? Like shit. So,
Bro, just and like the thing is too, like, I don't know, bro. Like, we can't make excuses for like somebody on a because you gotta think, bro, this is a brand Jordan athlete, right? Like, you could definitely have a personal chef travel with you and be like, yo, Tito, dog, I need a juice, a smoothie, and like a meal before and after practice. You know what I'm saying? Because
I mean,
like
how much money could those guys really make? 150, 200,000 a year?
oh yeah, no, and like you got to think too, like as a chef who has access to those types of athletes, like that's a dream job, bro. Like nobody's gonna mess that up. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't tell me Jordan, especially with Chris Paul and his history of embracing a vegan diet and the success that it has had for him, not with OKC and the Rockets, and now with the Suns. Like that basically extended his career. Like Kemba need to be on that vegan diet. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Kemba's knee would be better if he was on that vegan diet because Chris had an ACL injury and we don't even talk about that back in the day because he takes such good care of his body.
That's
Like
true.
so yeah, for $200,000, yeah, that's a small dent in your salary, but you're on the court and you're playing at a high level. Like Zion's probably unique in the fact that based on his size, like his metabolic rate might be like, yo, you need 6,000 calories. But it's like, what's the quality of those calories? You
6,000.
know what I'm saying? Like you can't be eating bread. You maybe need rice. Like you need to have a certain amount of cruciferous vegetables every day. You know what I'm saying? Like Zion needs to like because if Zion did that, bro, I feel like Zion's defying gravity. Like if Zion's doing what he did on probably a terrible diet at Duke and his first year in the league, what is he gonna do on a plant-based diet when Chris Paul is like, yo, I'm playing my best? When Dame Lillard's like, yo, I'm playing my best. When we see Kyrie come back and he's balling, like I feel like if big men embrace that diet, like big men become relevant again. Because they're just unstoppable. Like,
Yeah. No, and obviously I don't this is my point where I'm gonna brag real quick. But obviously, with having no NBA resources, I definitely don't have millions of dollars. Um, I don't have any of these resources. And in the last month and a half, I've lost 13, 14 pounds on like, again, not NBA training, definitely not a plant-based diet. Like it's just not hard. And it's like you said, his metabolic rate probably crazy compared to some people just because of his body and his athleticism and everything like that. Is yeah, he might be able to put 5,000-6,000 calories away, and maybe he'll lose weight. But again, it's the quality. But I don't even think I've been eating like anything like insane. Like I would not classify me as healthy. I'm healthier now. I'm definitely a lot healthier, but I would not classify myself as healthier and doing all this plant-based stuff. And I still can lose 13, 14 pounds. So, I mean, it's not, you would hope that it would be a little bit more simple for him, but I guess we'll kind of see how that goes. We'll move on. Rookie of the year. I have the top 3 spots right now. Right now, as ranked, Evan Mobley is first, Cade Cunningham is second, and Scotty Barnes is third. What do you think about the rookie class, and who do you think, or do you agree with the top 3? If not, why?
rookie of the year right now, to me, this might be a hot take. Anthony Edwards, JK. I know he's not a first year player.
Ben Simmons.
LeBron. Honestly, I feel like it doesn't show on the stat sheet. I hate to say it. This is like a weird year for rookie of the year because not to say that there's no rookie playing like super well, but like nobody really jumps out to me. If you'd have told me going into the year that like Jalen Suggs would have played as few games as he did, I definitely would have been shocked by that because I feel like he has great upside. I think Scotty Barnes is going to be a freak for Toronto. I think he's like the second coming of not Kawhi, but like a Chris Bosh-ish franchise-esque player, like a DeMar DeRozan-ish player that they're just building everything around. Because he's got all the physical gifts. Once he figures out NBA sets, he's already a monster on defense. But same thing with him. Like once he's been in an NBA weight room for like 3 years and developed any type of consistent shot, because he's a worker. Like he's not a pride guy. He's gonna develop a consistent shot because that's who he is. That's who he's been consistently throughout his career. Like he's gonna be not like Giannis-esque, but like just one of those physical freak guys that you can't really match up with. Because already as a rookie, I mean, he's like stripping the ball from KD. He's not backing down from Giannis. Him at 25, let alone like just, I don't know how old he is now. I think he's maybe like 20, 21. Like Evan Mobley's game is smooth. I saw Evan Mobley play earlier this year. So I think Evan Mobley stat sheet wise should be leading it. But Scotty Barnes to me makes a lot of plays for Toronto. A lot of hustle plays, a lot of blocks, a lot of things that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. He's like an Andre Iguodala at the power forward position. Like that's what I see him as. Just like almost like a Sean Marion hustle guy where like you don't have to run a play for him. He's going to get you defense. He's going to get you a couple putbacks. He's going to get you some hook shots. He'll finish with like 17 and 10, but he'll be dominant on defense. He'll get like 2 blocks, a steal. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's like where I can see the NBA trending in regards to like, when people play small ball and like they put Draymond at the 4, like Scotty Barnes is a complete mismatch at the 4 if you're playing small ball. Or at
Yeah,
least will be. I just think Scotty Barnes is nice.
I think there's a lot of too good of centers for you to really play small ball with him. I mean, if he plays at the 4, then I think you'll probably be fine. But I probably wouldn't disagree with you. I'd probably say that my top 3, I probably would switch Cunningham and Barnes. I do like Barnes a little bit more than Cunningham. Obviously, I'm not gonna take anything away from K because he also didn't play for like the first like 10 or 15 games of the season either. So he's still kind of trying to figure it out as well. Relatively speaking, their stats are actually all right around the same. I think Mobley's averaging like 15 and like 9. Cunningham's averaging and like 15 and like 4. And then Barnes is averaging like 14 and like 8. I think he has like 8 rebounds and like I think
Really?
four assists. Yeah, I think it's like 7.9 rebounds. So I think
I like
stat wise, I think probably Barnes is probably a little bit higher just because I think his assists he's has 1 or 2 more assists than both Mobley and Cunningham, and their points differential is not really that high. And for Mobley being a center, he's not really averaging that many more rebounds. So I definitely see what you're saying. I like Scotty Barnes a lot. I've tried to make it a point to watch a few Toronto games and again make it specifically a point to watch Scotty Barnes. And it's like you said. I mean, he's like what 6'9". He's got great length. His 3-point shot needs work in the fluidity department,
that.
in my opinion. But I mean, as a rookie, I mean, that's not bad at all. So, I mean, he's been shooting pretty efficiently for the most part. I like, or I don't, you know what? I won't lie. I don't know his shooting percentage right now, but his shot at least looks good. It looks like it's got nice form. Again, I just, he just needs to work on the fluidity, but that'll come. I think here in 3 or 4 years, 100%, he could be one of the better players in this draft. The thing I kind of am disappointed with Cunningham is I heard a lot about, him just being a great overall player. And again, maybe he needs just a few more games to really start getting going. And I mean, he's definitely had some good games as well. But he hasn't seemed like anything out of the ordinary yet, which again, I mean, he's still time. He's only a rookie. So, I mean, it's one of those tough things. It's was he number 1? The Pistons had the number 1 overall pick.
Facts.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, as a number 1 overall pick, you have all these expectations kind of thrown on you, which is justified, but not really justified because, for everyone's different, just because you're the first overall pick doesn't mean that you're going to succeed right away. It could take a year or 2 before you really start to take off. So I don't want to put too much on him, but I think Mobley and Barnes are definitely top 2. Mobley's been, with him and Jared Allen in the front court, man, for Cleveland, that's dangerous. That when you have 2 7-footers who can both move their feet and play great defense, man, that's tough. So I think Mobley might win it really just off that. And I feel like maybe if Scotty Barnes was like 6'11" and doing what he's doing, he would probably be in the running, or he would probably be over Mobley. But I think Mobley is so dominant as a 7-footer that it's hard. It's tough. It'd be pretty hard to overtake him.
Yeah, I agree.
So, okay, back to personal questions. What player or players inspired you, like when you were younger? Did you try and mimic, anything of that magnitude?
I'd definitely say growing up in New York when I did, like Marbury and Iverson were probably like the 2 biggest influences for me. Like people forget how big, I don't know, maybe it's where I was from in New York too, that like really influenced Marbury. And also, I don't know, man, like I knew about like Skip to My Lou before like he was playing in the finals as Ray for Alston. You know what I'm saying? Like there were just certain people that I knew about just being from the East Coast. Like I knew about the Nodick and King handles like 15 years ago, like, and people still will like look at him and be like, what? Like this guy's been playing street ball for a decade and a half and like, but like plays for the Canada national team. Like, I don't know, just like there's a lot of different street ball influences that I have. But as far as like league people, definitely Marbury, when he was on the Nets and Knicks. Steve Francis too, to a degree, and Allen Iverson. Because my brother is from Baltimore. So like franchise, all the point guards that used to wear number 3, man. Marbury, Iverson, Francis. Say those were my first 3, and then Jordan, of course. Jordan and Kobe.
Always got to be big ones. Yeah, I think the Marbury is definitely not a name that you would probably normally hear of. Really anybody ever saying like, oh yeah, but being from the East Coast, I definitely understand that, and just see difference, because I mean, there's a huge difference definitely with me in the fact that I didn't really have a lot of players that I really looked up to. I mean, the biggest reason why I was playing basketball is just because my dad had played and he was really good, so he kind of wanted me to play, and I think maybe to an extent, maybe first few years of playing basketball, maybe it was kind of more him wanting me to play than me wanting to play. But as a kid, you run around and you play and you have fun, so why not? But it definitely, but I mean, it got to the point where I wanted to play because I wanted to play basketball. But obviously, I was always a Phoenix fan. I grew up, born and raised in Arizona, right in Phoenix, so I was always a Suns fan. I would always, every season, try and make sure I knew. I didn't know the full 15-man roster, but I always tried to make sure that I knew, like that 8 to 10-man rotation, on who was on the Suns every year. So, I would always, it was kind of funny because as a kid, I remember Shaq being on the Suns, and I was like, I would always ask my dad, I was like, why isn't he doing his thing like on the Lakers? And it was just, like little things like that. So I remember, I just always remember being a Suns fan. So really, I feel like any Suns player kind of was like, was always big for me, whoever came through the Suns. So I always just support hometown team. But, Kobe was big. Just, I was trying to mimic the fadeaway. I was always told to watch, Charles Barkley or Hakeem Olajuwon, just because I was always a big man. So, I mean, there are definitely a lot of different players who overall kind of inspired me as I grew. But I definitely was always a Phoenix fan and kept it with the Suns. But I never was a huge NBA fan overall, though, until probably more into high school is when I started getting more into it.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like my senior year, because I had gone to boarding school my sophomore and junior years. So like my senior year, I had like a TV in my room, and it was just TNT NBA all the time. Like I knew the schedule, and I would like leave the TV on mute. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember seeing Kobe hit the one-legged fadeaway on Dwayne Wade. Like I stayed up late for that game. I remember seeing the Johnny Flynn like 6 overtime Syracuse game. Like that year was just like so classic for basketball. And honestly, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it early. This should probably be like a TikTok clip, and you can leave me saying that it should probably be a TikTok clip in there. Like this is gonna be one of the best years for basketball ever, historically. Like this is, if people haven't recognized this, like whether it be college or whether it be the pros, 2022 will be like a year in the record books of like, yo, do you remember that one year where like that one team won the championship and March Madness was lit, and that one dude hit that one shot and that one guy got drafted that year, and then like, oh yeah, that was the year that so and so won the championship. Like this is like a golden, this is the beginning of like a golden era of basketball, but this year specifically, it's like the perfect storm, because even though COVID's been going on, like it's the 3rd year, so we kind of know what to expect, even though there's still like an air of unpredictability. But outside of that, like things are not getting canceled, if that makes sense. So barring, again, knock on wood, anything unforeseen happening, like I think that this is going to be a phenomenal year for basketball culture in general. I'm excited for the tournament too. We should do a separate segment on that, because I don't really keep up with college basketball, but if we just go through the top 25, like I could definitely see us doing a segment on that because March Madness is going to be freaking lit this year, bro.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to college a lot either. I wouldn't be mad at doing a segment on March Madness because again, anything basketball related, we definitely need to go over. So 100%, we can sit down, go to the top 25, whatever the case may be, and we'll just start going through it, whatever it is. So I'm definitely with it. Back to the NBA. Defensive Player of the Year. Top 3 candidates: Giannis, Rudy Gobert, and Draymond Green.
Okay, we're taking Rudy Gobert out of the conversation because he's one historically. They're not going to let him get it. Okay, let's be apolitical here. He's not getting it, and so that's a two-way tie between Giannis and Draymond. I see Giannis getting it for relevancy purposes. And it's honestly tough because the Warriors, I think, are first in the league in regards to their overall defensive rating. And Draymond's out right now. So, I mean, what's Draymond's impact once him and Wiseman are probably going to return within like a 4 to 6 week period? Like, are we really going to be able to typify that Draymond himself is the defensive player of the year? Like, what I can see happening basically, just to summarize, is like Giannis winning it and Draymond and a bunch of people being like, Draymond should have won it. And then it being an argument in the media for like a week and a half and like it be a trending topic going into the playoffs, if that makes sense. Because I don't think the Bucks are going to get out of the semifinals, but I can see Giannis winning it. But in my mind, I think Draymond is the defensive player of the year. Because the fact that the Warriors are first in defense, like, I think, it has to do with their scheme. But when you see them play, like, Draymond's only impact at this point, the only reason he's on the floor is because of his continuity.
Say something?
Hey.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Bet. Yeah. I don't know where we left off, but
you were pretty much saying that you think that Giannis is gonna win it, but Draymond's gonna pretty much be saying that I should have had it and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I probably don't disagree. I definitely don't disagree with you that I don't think Rudy Gobert should be in this conversation anymore. I think it's hard to put him in this conversation because while he does raise like your defensive ratings during the regular season, it's a weird situation that you have because since he can be dragged out to the 3-point line and he's suddenly not effective out there, teams exploit that more in the playoffs, but they're not necessarily trying to exploit that in the regular season. So it's like, how do you judge that fully? You know, so I mean, the Jazz could be top 3 every year, but because of Rudy Gobert, but ultimately once they get into the playoffs, if he gets exposed and brought out, they take him out of the paint, all of a sudden, it's not looking like that anymore. So I think overall, we're not going to see Rudy Gobert win it anymore, just off the fact that we know, even fans know that he's going to get exposed, and people know, and teams know how to get around him being down there. So, and too many centers nowadays can stretch the floor. So it's tough. I think Giannis is probably going to end up winning it. I think the problem with the Warriors being first, even with in defense, even with Draymond out, is that kind of hurts his chances of winning it, because they're like, oh, well, it's kind of like you said, like, oh, well, what's his value then? Well, 100%, Draymond's definitely one of the best, one of the top 2 best defenders on the team or the best defender on that team, hands down, and it's not even close. So obviously he does bring a lot, and he's definitely always there for the playmaking. I mean, he literally does all the little things: playmaking, rebounding, and playing defense. I think Giannis is just a little bit more important defensively to his team, so that'll probably be why he ends up getting it, or getting the nod. And then that's going to end up raising the question that Giannis is going to have like 2 defensive player of the years, a couple MVPs, a finals MVP, a ring. We might have to start talking about that man being higher on the all-time list too at some point, but we won't get into that today. But it is definitely an interesting conversation that everyone's going to need to start having pretty soon.
Oh, we need to definitely debate that all-time NBA list, because Anthony Davis has no right to be on that list.
No, not at all.
Anthony Davis has absolutely. That was the most premature, lukewarm take, putting him on that team. So yeah, no, we're gonna have to revisit that, because the fact that he is on there is validation of Clay alone. That, man, how is Clay not on the list and Anthony Davis is?
It's just got to be based off the talent. That's really got to be it, because I mean, there's really no other reason. I mean, there's really not any other reason.
No other just one at that. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy to think about. Anthony, like, where's Anthony Davis too, bro? Talking about where's Zion? Where's Anthony?
No, we don't care about where Anthony is right now. He's not playing like Anthony. So
Anthony is hiding the same place where the low gas prices are at. Bring the low gas prices back. Bring Anthony Davis back, and bring Zion back, and bring my Stimmy back, Joe.
Bring my Stimmy back, but make it not 1,400. Make it a little bit more.
Where my Stimmy at, Joe?
Ooh, excuse me. The last thing that I wanted to talk about today, just because it's about halfway through the season, so it's getting to that time. All-star starters. We don't got to go through, reserves and everything, but I kind of figure let's see if we can't come to a consensus about who we think should be starting. Let's go over and start with the West. Let's go backcourt first. Who do you think your guards are?
Chandler Parsons, for winning that settlement and having.
Boo.
Okay, we got Ja point, right? We got Steph at the 2. I got Clay. Let's see. God, who's the center? Nah, not Rudy.
Is Clay? How is Clay listed? You're gonna have Clay in the as a starter?
Yeah, I got Clay as a starter. I got Clay as a starter. Oh God, what? I got 2 more spots. Man, I put Paul George in there, but Paul George hasn't done anything in like 3 years, so can't put him on there. Can't put Kawhi on there. Dang, who else is even playing in the West, bro? LeBron.
There you go, man.
There we go.
Are you really not going to put LeBron as a starter?
Yeah, there we go. Put LeBron as a starter, and then who's last? Yeah, I don't know, man. Honestly, anybody. But Golden State should have like two starters. Let Clay start, and let Steph start along with Ja. And I don't know, put like Donovan Mitchell in there or something like that. But for sure, Ja's got to be a starter. It's his MVP year, bro. Ja's winning MVP.
I didn't want to talk about MVP yet. I figure we can wait closer to like maybe 3/4 of the way through the season to start talking about MVP.
I just call it early.
Yeah,
I just
MVP is kind of harder. I think definitely this year's just been tough because there's a lot of guys who could have won it, and then they kind of play badly, or in KD's case, they get injured. But definitely a lot of good picks for MVP this year. But starters, West, I would agree with you. I would probably go John Morant and Steph Curry. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not putting Klay Thompson as an all-star. I can't. He's
Exactly.
not. You can't play. You can't not play for 2 years and then be an all-star after 15
He's
games.
good
I'm
enough.
sorry. If he had played the whole season, even if he had played terribly the whole season, I would probably give it to him. But I can't do it after 15
Deserves it,
games,
bro.
man. No, man, I can't. I can't do it. I would throw Jokic. For my center, I would throw LeBron, and then, man, that's it's like you said. If Paul George wasn't injured, I could probably honestly see myself giving it to Paul George, but I don't think Mikal Bridges, I think, is on his way, but he's not there yet.
Oh yeah, the Suns have all-stars too.
Yeah, the Suns got all stars. I don't think Devin Booker should be a starter, but I would throw him 100% in the reserves. But for my last starter, man, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anybody that I'm really missing that's like been hooping, because I mean, you could kind of give it to Andrew Wiggins. He's been playing pretty good overall. He's been playing as an all-star ish. He's been playing on that level, but I don't know. I could see him being a reserve. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'd want to give it to him as a starter. Maybe Cat. Maybe.
Maybe Cat, maybe D'Lo. D'Lo's like leading the league in clutch buckets or something like that. D'Lo clutch as hell.
I don't know.
Anthony Edwards, maybe.
But I mean, you can't throw a guard in because isn't it still two backcourt, three, or I mean two front court? No, two backcourt, three front court.
Hey, honestly, they need to expand the all-star rosters. Let me just say that right now, bro. Like, they need to just have a full 15 and let G League players compete in the slam dunk competition so that it's interesting and I want to watch it. Because if you're not going to pay the league players and they don't want to do it because of injuries, that's cool. But I need to start seeing some 360s and windmills and between the legs and some dope stuff.
Bring content creators in, bro. Like professional dunkers. Like that'd be lit. Like honestly, dunk contest before Steph Curry, really for me, like Steph, like this, like once Steph Curry won it in like 2015 or whatever it was, like I felt like you really do anticipate the 3-point contest. But every year, regardless, I've always been like, I'm 100% watching the dunk contest because I just want to see how it goes down. And I think last year this was pretty disappointing if I remember correctly.
Super disappointing.
Probably because I don't remember it that well.
Exactly.
So yeah, man, I think they should bring some like content creators, and because them motherfuckers don't care. They'll get injured, because that's their career. They live off making videos and everything like that and dunking. So
bro, I
agree.
Like you said, bring in content creators and then also have content creators like announce the whole event. Like how many people would tune in? How memorable of an experience would it be? I'll fix the league right now for free. You're welcome, Adam Silver. Like literally bringing content for like a league-wide slam dunk competition, right? Invite the WNBA players out so that they get the airtime and the ability to market and network with NBA players, and like also just have the visibility between both leagues. Like stop kind of having only celebrities and like only having them play on the Friday celebrity game. Like actually have them courtside and like female figures from the basketball at the game and at the dunk contest. And then also, last but not least, bro, like have somebody actually fun announce the event, bro. Like have Mark from RDC World announce the slam dunk competition. Bro, that would be hilarious. Have him out on the court at like, imagine if him and everybody else that does those videos are like the courtside reporters that are interviewing different NBA stars. You know what I'm saying? While the event is going on, while Mark is announcing it, that shit would be hilarious, bro. Like that would make the NBA so much goddamn money and like unite content creators with basketball players, with NBA All-Star Weekend. Like, can I just fucking get money for creating that whole idea? Because it sounds fucking perfect.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I think it is really a good idea, and it's funny. I was imagine I was like, damn, man, I was like, I need to get famous just so they invite me to the NBA celebrity game, man. Like, I want to pull up one day to the NBA celebrity game. Like, I want to be like totally silent. All of a sudden, like I'm in shape for a celebrity game, and all of a sudden, just a fast break, East Bay, real quick. Be first East Bay in a celebrity game. I think that'd be fun. That'd be fun, but one can only dream. But 100%. I think if you start uniting content creators, that are on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever the case may be, and that just brings in more fans because they're the recognizable people.
Exactly.
I mean, just like the NBA players are recognizable in the basketball community, you will get non-basketball fans tuning in just because you have these content creators who they like and find funny just to see them. So you'll just get people who don't even care about basketball just tuning in for that. So 100%.
Off the entertainment value. Yeah, you're totally right.
I think that would definitely be a good idea. Let's transition over to East. Starters for the East. Who do you think?
DeMar DeRozan for sure. Kevin Durant for sure.
If he's healthy.
Kyrie Irving because he beat that case for sure. Jimmy Butler, maybe. Jimmy Butler's been balling out for Miami. LaMelo. LaMelo's honestly a sleeper pick for me, I feel like. Rozier should honestly be a reserve, bro. Like, based on the state of the East, like I could easily see Rozier being a reserve. His stats are solid. Nobody talks about it. Don't they have a winning record too? Or like a 500 record? The Hornets? Rozier should be an all-star this year. It's a hot take, but I'm going with it. Like,
stats wise, it's definitely a hot take.
wait, what are his stats this season?
18.6, 4.1 rebounds, 3.8 assists.
18 points though? Bro.
I feel like we're getting to that stage in basketball where 18 points isn't like that's really like what you expect like your third guy to be doing, like that's almost like the requirement of being like the third or fourth string now is having kind of that
35.
because even now, like people I'll see a lot that people will try and bring down LeBron's like damn near 30 a game right now with the fact that there are just so many possessions and everything. And I mean, while they do have a point and while that that reigns true for everybody, just the fact that there are more possessions, obviously there's just more opportunities to score, so you have more people being able to average higher, just having higher averages. For the other guys who Terry Rozier, maybe 10, 15 years ago, probably would not be averaging 18 points a game right now. Maybe he'd probably be averaging more like 10 or 11 just because he wouldn't begin maybe the amount of shots that he is. So like it is definitely viewed. I think again, if he had these kind of averages in like 2007, 2008, I could see it. I could see him, having a case for an all-star. But I think we're out of that time period where these kinds of stuff, even if you're playing pretty well and helping your team, I don't think it's enough. I think you're going to get guys who have the numbers. So you're going to get, so LaMelo would probably be a solid pick. I don't know if he's going to really make it. He definitely could though. He could definitely be a reserve. I would agree. DeMar DeRozan. I would agree. I just lost it. Trey Young. I think Trey Young's would probably will get thrown in there. You're gonna have Embiid, you're gonna have Giannis, and that third spot, man. Let me look at the East. What team? I'm definitely missing someone big, I feel like. Jimmy Butler. Oh, Kevin. Okay, Kevin Durant if he's healthy, but if not, I say Jimmy Butler could probably get it. Could probably pause. Could probably get into the All-Star game. Maybe either that or Jason Tatum. Maybe.
And what are James Harden's stats this year?
Oh, I think I just heard him. I think he's averaging 23 or 24. And like I think he's averaging like 10 assists.
Oh, for real? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah, I know. It's like even a down year for James Harden's actually like still really tough. So and we could
Yeah,
probably have that argument too, where a lot of expectations might have been thrown at Harden unjustly super quickly. But or he's held to a pretty high standard for somebody who really shouldn't have been, but he ended up just playing as well as he did, so naturally the expectations just came with it. So
well, plus, yeah, and Harden has like no pick and roll, man. Like, who do the Nets have on their roster really that can play with Harden or that can just play that hasn't been in the G League or has been injured at some point? You know what I mean? Like, they got Patty Mills right now, and that's it. Like, they're waiting for Joe
yeah,
Harris. They traded Jared Allen. That killed them. No DeAndre Jordan. Paul Millsap's going to get traded.
not that DeAndre Jordan would have helped them in any way right now, but
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's really an impact player for the Lakers right now. So,
no, I mean, man, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. I think James Harden's definitely been less effective, but I mean, I could definitely see him still again being thrown as a reserve. I think probably him and LaMelo would probably end up being in the reserves. I'm trying to I think Jeremy Grant would probably be in the reserve. Um Kyrie maybe. Kyrie, I think the only reason why I probably wouldn't play because I mean it was still a team's decision to not play Kyrie. So that's tough. That's a tough one. I think the guard position would probably be tough in the East. I think it's a little bit easier in the West just because I don't think you have as many. I think it's just a little bit easier to know who stands out and everything in the West more so than you do in the East. Because I mean, you could really give it to any one of those three. I mean, because I mean, let's say you take LaMelo off the All Star and give it to Kyrie, and it's Kyrie and whoever else I said before, and James Harden. It would not be a wrong decision, but but it would suck for LaMelo. So I don't know. I guess we'll kind of see. I don't know if there's a real strategic way for the reserves. I don't know if there's like a set like this many guards and this many front court, um but yeah. So I guess I'll go over my starters again. So I guess I got Trey Young, DeMar DeRozan, Embiid, um, KD if healthy, and Giannis. And then if KD's not healthy, I'll give it to Jimmy Butler.
yeah, I totally spaced about Giannis. Giannis will definitely be a starter.
You gonna throw him out the reserves now? You take John Morant over Giannis, and now you're gonna throw Giannis on the reserves, huh?
Yeah,
Man, that's a lot of hate.
unfortunately.
We'll wrap it up with our last question, last personal question. Um, at what point did you decide that you wanted to be a skills coach? When did it dawn on you?
At what point? Honestly, it happened right around the time that like my daughter was born. I remember I was going to the gym a lot and like just like warming up and training with like two basketballs, similarly to how like Steph Curry used to, because that was like right around the time that Golden State was like going on their championship run. And I just remember like waking up early and being like, I don't want to have to ask somebody for the flexibility to, you know what I mean, go to like my daughter's field trips or just to have like the type of schedule flexibility that I wanted. And also it's actually it like ties back to basketball too, not ironically I guess, but there was a commercial that I watched when I was like 14 or 15 when I had that TV in my room. Uh, and it was like a Tracy McGrady Adidas commercial, and he was like, "My uncle used to tell me like, if you find a job you love, you never work a day in your life." You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of hoopers go through this like afterlife where it's almost like we uh we understand Santa Claus isn't real. Like everybody has a I'm not going to the league moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like not a lot of people recover from that. Like some people just end up playing pickup ball. Like some people just stop playing basketball completely. Like some people end up loving the game even more. And like for me, I was just like, how do I like pay basketball forward while at the same time like acknowledging the monetary aspect of just day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? So I guess just having like a natural inclination from that and having already had experience doing camps and training people, just like putting two and two together and being like, yeah, like this is something that I need to get better at so that I can feel comfortable training people to get better at it. You know what I mean? And then from there, it's just going to be a fluid process. So,
Okay. So like right around the time your daughter was born, I mean, I'd probably say I mean, okay, not when your daughter was born and I don't have a daughter, but um yeah, it's kind of like there is like a realization because you're talking about there everyone kind of has a point where it's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to the league, and I kind of I it dawned, I mean, I shouldn't say it, it dawned on me, but I started coming to that realization. I was like, all right, the league's not happening at this point. So, and I had been to a few coaching camps. I coached a few times at the overnight junior Suns, Phoenix Suns basketball camps. Um, and obviously, then I found Hoop Code, and it was just I always knew I wanted to stay around basketball. If I wasn't going to be a player, if I wasn't going to be, in the NBA or overseas or anything like that, then I at least wanted to stay around basketball because that's at least something that I always had fun doing. I always loved to be in the gym, just and the competition and everything like that. And it's like you said, if you can kind of pay it forward or teach the next generation, just whatever you can and hope that they take something from it and use it, then I think that's great. And I think I probably had that realization probably um probably around 21 or 22, right after I was done playing college basketball. It was probably like, okay, how do I stay around basketball? Okay, coaching, but how do I get into coaching? And then obviously hoop code happened and it took off, and I'm definitely happy with where I've gone so far, but definitely a lot of work to be done, and I definitely need to be a lot better. And I took a little bit of time off from coaching that I didn't really expect. I wanted to continue it while I was here, but just sometimes things happen for a reason. So I'm not mad at it, but I'm gonna get back to it. When I get back to Arizona, we're gonna get back to it and we're gonna start working, and it's gonna be great. But yeah, it's hard to not want to stay around basketball. It's really hard not to.
yeah, it's honestly like so much fun and it's honestly rewarding. Like I feel like as a younger player, I definitely used to be like it's gonna suck when like I can't play basketball anymore because I genuinely couldn't see myself like enjoying the game as much just being a spectator because I'm like part of my love for basketball is knowing how good I am playing it. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
how confident I am or just how much fun it is to actually play the game. But now like being a trainer, it's like opened my eyes to be like, yo, I really get to enjoy basketball like my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like I could be old at 70 or 80 years old and you know what I'm saying? Like, God forbid, but like I could be like blind and I could still enjoy basketball because just the sound of it. You know what I'm saying? Like just the squeak of the shoes and the dribble of the basketball against the hardwood. Like you really get to enjoy basketball forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just a cool sport. And especially like with how popular it's becoming, particularly in America. Like I feel like when I was growing up as a kid, like football and baseball, not to say that they were more popular, but it was almost like a three-way tie depending on where you were. Whereas now it seems like just everybody wants to play basketball. Like basketball is becoming like the soccer of America, where like it's just everywhere, bro. Everybody and their mama play basketball. Like, I don't know, it's cool. It's cool to see that culture developing.
Yeah, I just think, yeah, it's just something about the competition. It's just like, even though, like, even if I could play bad, one night, and I would still just be like, hell no, I can't end it on that. I was like, I gotta go. I was like, next week. I was like, I'm hoping next week. It's just, there's something about, no matter what, I would just want to keep going back to it. And even now, it's kind of like I could go a few months without touching a basketball, and but that entire time I'm like, damn man, I was like, I want to touch a basketball. I want to get on a court. I want to just shoot the ball. Anything. Like even now, it's been killing me that I haven't really been playing pickup because I just don't know that many places around here, and if there are a lot of places, again, I just don't know them. But I feel like if there were a decent amount of places, I would have found them already. So, but it's been absolutely killing me that I haven't really been playing pickup because it's just like I just crave the competition, man. I just crave it. But
Yeah, and in Arizona, there's always a game. You know what I mean?
100%, like
You're
every other gym.
away from having a game at any time of the day whenever you want. So it's definitely there.
It's gonna be different here in a gift from Zoom. Right, we removed the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting.
What?
I mean, we've literally done like this is literally our third or fourth time being over an hour. So I don't know why it's suddenly a gift now, but whatever.
Racist.
But I mean, literally, we've none of our recordings have been under an hour. So I don't know what this 40-minute thing. Even it's been longer than 40 minutes as is.
Yeah, thank you for
So,
that first time notification. Despite the
oh wait, you rejoined, but again, that shouldn't have mattered. But oh well. Um, we'll cut it off here. It's getting pretty late. Hey, good talk, man. I think we went over a lot of stuff. I think next week we should try and bring somebody, have like a third person on. I think that'd be cool. And we'll just keep hammering this out until I get back, and then we'll try and see about setting up, an in-person, version of this.
No, yeah, I'm for it, man. I'm for it. We definitely gotta figure something out, and then I'll try and shoot you some ideas for topics as the week goes on as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yep. So I appreciate everybody for watching, and we will see you next week.